Welcome back to Engendered, and if you're just joining us, you're right in time because the show is just about to begin. And today we're going to be discussing something peculiar to both the female and male gender, but we're going to be narrowing it down to the female gender, and that's talking about personal branding. And we're going to be doing that today with Ijeoma Igbaji. She's a gift curator, she's a personal development strategist, she's an author and a coach. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me. I'm very well. Thank you.
Okay, like I said, we're going to be talking about personal branding for women. So before we narrow it down to the female gender, let's talk about branding in general. So how do we define branding?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. So branding is identity, your authentic identity. So now, because you know, when you think of advertising, you think of selling, but you find that every human being is selling. Either you're trying to get a job, that's selling. You're trying to get married, that's selling. Okay. You know, you're trying to get a position, an appointment, everybody is selling. You know, so what is the identity that you're selling? That is what personal branding is about, to put it simply. Okay. Yes.
Though how important, I'd like to ask how important it is really to brand.
It's very important, especially now that we are in an age, we're in a technology age, we're in a fast-paced age. If you don't brand, you'll be left behind. You'll be left behind because people are creating images and identity around themselves and selling themselves and pushing themselves forward for different spheres of life. And then so people are just waiting for life to happen. So if you don't brand, you're left behind. That's why it's very important.
Yeah. For the female gender, like how do we create our identity? How do we brand? Because, for example, I'll ask this question in reference to the fact that sometimes it is said that females do things because of men. Okay, for example, we are single ladies, Victoria and I, and then there's some, they see when we dress, we try to look at how we're going to be appealing in front of men. But preparing yourself to get married. Then when you get married, you're doing things because of your husband and your children. So for the female gender, how do you now bring out yourself from the picture and know that it's not just about my husband or my children or the man I'm going to meet, it's about myself. So how do I identify my brand by myself?
Okay, so I think it was Brian Tracy that said everything counts. So for every woman, you have to be intentional. That's just it. Because have you not noticed that there are some women you see, they are single, but anytime you meet them, marriage or men is not top of your mind. You are thinking go-getter. You are thinking, wow, this lady is, you know, a serious businesswoman or something.
You refer to them as career women.
Yes, why? It's branding.
Okay.
Yes, you cannot mistake them because they have intentionally created the image and the identity that this is what is important to me. So when you see a single woman who is trying to get married, for instance, you know, some people will say, oh, she's desperate, she's this, she's that. But the truth is that there's a way you come across without even knowing, because sometimes, and that's why branding has to be intentional, sometimes we just do things unconsciously. We're directed and we're controlled by our unconscious, and we come across as single, looking for man. So you wear a particular outfit, they'll say it's because of man. You make your hair, you look nice, or they even tell you look nice so that they will. But if that is not your intention, you need to intentionally, you know, position yourself for what you want. That's just the truth. If your intention is to get married as a single lady, if marriage is topmost on your mind, then why not? Why not position yourself, the clothes, the way you talk, and all of that? But if you are more interested in other things, then you have to be intentional.
Okay, I know you said we have to be intentional when it comes to branding itself, but wouldn't it be classified as being doing too much,
or being
desperate,
or notice me, like they say.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. A few days ago, I think a couple of days ago, I saw a post on Facebook. It was supposed to be a funny post. And the post said, if luxury brands made coffins, this is what they would look like. So I started scrolling and I saw a Versace coffin and I was like, oh, this is really funny. And I saw a Louis Vuitton coffin and I saw a Burberry coffin and all of that. And then I thought, I wonder what Apple coffin would look like. And I pictured it, I saw it in my mind, what an Apple coffin would look like. And before I got to the Apple slide, what I saw in my mind was what the Apple coffin looked like. And that is branding. Because Apple has entrenched themselves so much in our minds. Their brand is so clear-cut that when you think of Apple, what I saw in my head was like an AirPod case as a coffin, and that was what it was. And you know, Apple is they stick to their brand.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I say that is because it's not a mistake when you come across a certain way to people. You understand? Because they would. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But as a single woman, right? People obviously accuse you of doing too much when you try your best to become intentional. Let me paint a picture. Imagine that you are somebody that likes to go clubbing, you like to go out, you like to just, be free, and then one day you wake up in the morning in your home, and then you turn on CNN instead of MTV, and you take a cup of coffee, and you're sipping it and watching CNN and following the news and following the stock market and all of that. What do you think will happen? They'll laugh. Why is he doing this one? What, you understand? The first day, the second day, by the third day, they'll say, this one is doing too much. Maybe you're like, oh, I don't want to discuss this, or I don't want to do all of that. They will laugh at you at first. But guess what? If you stay with that, your new intentionality, one day, so one of the members of your household will call you and say, hey, this stock market thing, I have some money. Where do you think I should put this money in? It started with laughter. Then it started with you're doing too much. Then now that they have seen that the intention is serious, you have reprogrammed their minds to where you are now, they will fall in line. So it always comes across like we're doing too much when we start doing things. But eventually, you now see that you start attracting that which you want. And then all the people who have laughed before, they now start wondering and they now want to, join in or become a part of what it is that you're doing.
Okay, I know you said something about consistency, but then let's leave that. I'll ask that maybe subsequently. Where do we cut down the ties when it comes to branding and telling the truth? Because when you see, for instance, these influencers, they tend to have perhaps like a brand which they feel they should portray, and most times you find out that it's perhaps false, and you want to be like them. Okay, but that is not what you're even doing in the first place. So how do we not perhaps make the truth out of branding, that when I see you, I know, oh, you're taking coffee and that's why you're looking the way you are, and it's really coffee, and not because you just make me feel like it's coffee, but it's not coffee in any sense.
Branding is not lying. That's the thing. Branding is not lying. Branding is, this is like, okay, for instance, the first step of branding is, who am I? Who am I? And who do I want to present to the world? Branding is authenticity. So if you are trying to lie, that's not branding. Yes, I know that, the world has accepted this false narrative that branding is people in private jets, people, wearing the latest designer brands from head to toe and all of that. That's not branding, because if anything happens, you shift focus. But let me tell you, Nike, you know what Nike is? Let me not even use foreign brands. Let me use our Nigerian brands. Ibuku Awoshika as a person, you know what she stands for. Tara Dorotore, you know what a woman like that stands for. You cannot mistake them for. So if you see, for instance, Kate Henshaw, she has built a brand around, she's an actress, but she has built a brand around fitness. So if you cannot see, if you see Kate Henshaw promoting a soda company, you may be like, this is off. Or you see Mercy Chinwo promoting maybe a sex toy company, you'll be like, this is off. It's not. But if you see Mercy Chinwo promoting something that has to do with the gospel, even if it's not core gospel, but has to do with values and all that, it's authentic to her brand, so it's not off. But like as an influencer, influencer is different. Influencing is different from branding, because that one is all commerce. And if you notice, an influencer can be this today, this tomorrow, this next tomorrow, and all of that. But there are some influencers that have personal brands. For instance, there are those ones that have said, I am a mother and I'm a cook, so this is my brand. So you will never ever see them trying to advertise footwear or clothing. It is food, Maggi, oil. They are in that. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So personal branding is not about being fake. The first thing of branding is authenticity. You have to ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Either you ask yourself or you ask people, what do I come across as? Some people will say, oh, you talk a lot. You talk a lot. And then you now see that dream of being an MC is actually valid. You understand? You now see that there's authenticity in this personal brand you want to build as an MC. Yeah.
Okay, now I would like to ask a question in relation to the social media.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about branding, talking about influencers and the like. Let me, basically the female gender.
Yeah.
Now there's some things that we the ladies portray on social media that some people make comments like, hey lady, you shouldn't do this on social media.
Yeah.
Is your branding offline different from your, or should I say, is your identity offline? Should it be different from your identity online too?
No, everything counts. Everything counts. Everything counts. Every time you show up, you should show up as yourself, as you, as that personal brand. Once you become intentional about your personal brand, anytime you show up, people should not have any doubt that this is this person. That's just the truth. If your personal brand is, for instance, I like to wear boo-boos. I love it. I do. I love to wear Nigerian brands. Anytime I show up in jeans, my family members are always a bit, like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Or sneakers. They are like shocked, especially when they go sporting events. That's just a little aspect. But when your personal brand aligns offline, online, and across board, anybody that is met can vouch and say, oh, this person is like this. You'll find that there are certain things that if they come up, maybe accusations or whatever, people will say, not her. It's no. They'll vouch for you. If people are looking for someone in your niche, top of the mind recall, their mind immediately goes to you because you have been intentional about creating your brand, and it's not a lie online. Like for instance, there are people who are happy online, and when you meet them, they are rude and they are standoffish and they are snobbish. The truth is, people eventually it will collide, and it won't be authentic, and then people will now see you for who you really are, because it will be like it's fake. Because if it's real, you don't have to pretend and you don't have to lie.
Okay, so now that branding we're talking about, the personal identity, does it just refer to your character, your traits, or it also boils down to your career and
your fonts even? Like if you notice, there are people online who their pages are pink, it's because they have decided that my personal brand is soft and feminine.
Okay.
There are people who have decided their personal brand is strong and attractive, so they stick with red hues. There are people who have decided, look, I'm a fit fam, I love nature, so you see green hues around them. They do a lot of all of that. All of that is intentional. Like when you study personal branding, you know what suits you. You know what will attract the kind of audience that you're looking for. So if you're trying to attract moms, for instance, stay-at-home moms who have kids, you cannot be coming across like one career-driven woman that is, pushful and ready to power through. You have to take a more soft and nurturing stance. Even the way you talk to people, even the way you present yourself, has to be a bit more. And then if you want to be a career woman, you cannot try to be nurturing and soft, and you have to, because you are talking to women that are, powering through, that are strong, that know where they're going, they know what they want. So you try to talk like that, they're looking at you like you're not connecting with them. You understand? So it's all part of the personal brand. Like when you see all those little details that people put up, color patterns, they are luxury fonts. Did you know that they are actually fonts that you use to portray luxury? All of that, those are tiny details that can actually add. The way you dress, the way you dress, it has been said for ages, the way you dress is the way you'll be addressed. And it is so true. There are people who have gone from wearing practically nothing to now, especially now that the boo-boo trend is really in, to now wearing full-on boo-boo with headscarves and all of that. If you put them side by side, they're like two different people. It's all intentional.
All right. The word though, I know you've said, branding terms, like perhaps let's just call it an identity for many people, in generality. But the word brand seems to come up as a new thing to so many, because when you hear of the word brand, you just want to talk about commerce, you want to talk about promotion and the rest. Now we're narrowing it down to humans.
Yes.
So how can women brand themselves?
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to ask, like I said earlier, you have to ask yourself, who am I and what do I want out of life? And when you ask yourself this question, for instance, I am a woman and I want, you ask yourself, maybe you can start with saying, what are the 3 things that are strongest about me? You can ask yourself, you can ask people. I usually advise people to be careful who they ask, because some people just tell you anything, but you can also know the things about you. And then when you discover 3 things about yourself, you now ask yourself, what do I want? I want to be the biggest baker in Nigeria, but you are posting holidays and matching Burberry outfit and Balenciaga. Your page is all of that. Who knows that you even bake? Your friends. How can you become the biggest? So now you see, you have identified who you are. You're good with your hands, you're creative, and you want to become. So who you are and who you want to become. So you tell yourself, I want to start speaking in international stages. That's my dream. But nobody knows that about you. So what do? You have identified who you are. You have identified what you want to become. You now start building yourself, taking courses. You have to go to school. You build confidence, your relationships, your associations. You start identifying, who are the people I need to connect with? Who are the people that I need to be friends with? Or who are the people I need to mentor me at this point that will now put me on the trajectory to the dream that I want to achieve? So you cannot be just careless and saying anything goes. Like I said, everything counts. you should be able to walk into a family gathering and they'll call you out and say, hey, you have come. Oh, good. This thing. Or strangers will see you and introduce you as this thing because you have stayed authentic to your personal brand. Yeah.
Okay, now, what are some of the challenges that women could encounter while trying to identify their brands?
Okay, some of the challenges is some of the challenges is like what you said earlier about being single. For instance, you're single, you know what you want to do, you know yourself, you know everything, and then you get married, and then a lot of the time, especially religion tells you that you have to submit to your husband, you have to come under him, you are under him basically. So a lot of women lose their identity in marriage, and as like you're ambitious, but because you're now a mother with children, you tell yourself that part of me has to be suppressed or even die. So those are the that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is the fact that people have put women in a box. They have given us roles that, I'm not saying there are no gender, I believe that there are gender roles. Yeah. Like a man cannot give birth, obviously. You can't breastfeed. So those are, but a woman can be a leader. There are dominant women, but when they see a dominant woman, she's a this or she's a that. So women sometimes cower, like, let me not come across. So that is another, because we're always trying to, not be too much. So when you have to suppress your authentic self, for instance, if you're a natural born leader, you have to suppress that because you don't want to come across as too much. That's one of the challenges. Another challenge I would say of a woman expressing her personal brand is the fact that I don't believe in the narrative that women hate women, but women are more likely to, knock heads, clash, over little things. I don't know, all of that, like she's wearing the same thing I'm wearing, like, what's she feeling like? So because of that, so a lot of the time women hide. So where we should be supporting and pushing, like, oh, I've identified this woman as a strong woman, as a leader, we should be pushing her forward. Instead, it's like, what's she, and we're pulling her down. That's one of the challenges.
You said it, and in my mind I was already thinking before you even said it, but in a world where it seems as though many people are in competition, so there might not really be competition, but because you're good, I am good, everybody is good. Yeah. So how do you come out in uniqueness in terms of bringing out your identity to be unique in a way?
Everybody is unique in one way or the other. Some people hide because they are afraid of what will people say, they are shy and all that. The truth is, you just have to stand out as your authentic self. Have you noticed that people who come out and do things and are outstanding get so much attention and so much money, and everybody's looking at them and envying and saying, well, I want to be like that, I want to be part of that. Everybody has it in, like, Hilda Bassi, for instance. Every woman has it in her. It doesn't have to be cooking. Every woman has it in her to be outstanding at something. There are so many ways and so many things that can be done in different ways, but somehow you see one person doing something and you feel like because that person is doing it, you can't do it, or they have taken away the shine from you and all that. I don't know, maybe science has a way of explaining it, I don't know. But actually men are really the same. I think it's a human thing, to be a bit competitive. but it's just a case of knowing who you are, knowing what you want to achieve, and just going for it. A lot of the time, because women, we tend to want, validation and support from each other, and to be noticed and to be appreciated and affirmed and all of that. But if you know what you want and you know where you're going, the voices from the external voices should not be your validation. It should come from inside. That's why every woman needs to build a strong internal support system. Yes, we have external support system, friends, this and that, but every woman should build a strong internal support system. A system that will tell you, what are you doing? A system that will tell you, you are not on brand. You're not showing up as yourself, as your authentic self. Why are you commenting on that post? Why are you joining to drag? That will caution you. That will ask you why you are cowering for somebody that you should be standing up to. It comes from inside. It shouldn't be, hey, let's gather, let's go on. No, from yourself, you should know how to discipline yourself and get up and say, I know that I have only 3 customers, but I want 50 a month. How do I get there? And then, okay, let me pay, I have some money, let me pay for this course. Let me do this, let me do that. Let me reach out to this person. Let me attend this event. Like that. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask, earlier, I asked you a question when it's said that branding is too much. Okay. And Chidinma has made mention about same things. When is branding considered as over too much? And these days we find a lot of people branding their body. That's what is reigning presently. And I know it's part of still branding, right? Yes, because they want an identity.
Yeah.
So branding of body, is it part of it?
When you say branding of body, do you mean like the
liposuction?
Okay.
Liposuction and the rest.
Well, personally, I don't know. I'm averse to surgery and all of that, and I believe that I'm satisfied with the body that God gave me. Before I got married, I was much slimmer, much slimmer, and of course I was, I felt very attractive and all of that. And that's one of the things that women struggle with. You give birth, you add weight, you start feeling somehow, all of that. And I did a lot. I wanted to lose weight by all means. I tried all kinds of things, but I think I heard somebody say that where you are now, if you're not happy with who you are now, where you are now, who is to say that when you get to your destination, your dream destination or your dream body, who is to say that it will bring you any happiness? So you have to find the happiness now. I used to hide. I used to feel, let me not attend any event. Let me know. But then I told myself, no, I am attractive exactly as I am while I walk towards where I want to get to. So I don't know why. I don't know. Some people is body dysmorphia. Some people is different things. But I don't know dysphoria. Sorry, I don't know why people, work on their bodies. A lot of people will say it's for men. But
sorry to cut you. We have a plastic surgeon on set, and he explained to us that when we asked them, I think a question about why people do it, he said, when you see your body is your brand, is your identity.
Yeah, exactly.
That was what he said, that is your identity. So people will want to look good and portray themselves in the way they want people to see them.
Exactly. I agree with him because the way you dress is your brand and all of that. So if your brand is, and if you notice, it's mostly people in the entertainment industry, in body, sale of body industry, and people who just like to slay. Those are the people who do like body enhancement, BBL and all of that. Now, if you notice people who are in a certain line or industry or in a certain, they hardly do that. It's not on brand. So people who are doing body enhancement and all that, they're doing it for a reason. Maybe it fits with what they're trying to achieve. But if you tell yourself that, for instance, having a huge backside does not matter to give a speech in the UN, you wouldn't care. But if it matters so that you can get roles that or likes, then you go for it. You spend the money or the men that you want, then you spend the money and you go for it. But what is important to you? That is.
It's particularly relative to whatever they want to achieve.
Yes.
Okay, at this point we'll have to go on a short break.
Okay.
Alright, viewers, we'll begin on a short break, and when we return, Engendered continues. We will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're still watching Engendered, and we've been with our guests in the studio speaking about branding itself. Before we went on that break, we were talking about body enhancement and the likes. And I would like to ask this question. Rather than talking about branding, don't you think it is even more important we speak about self-acceptance?
Branding is about self-acceptance.
But many people do a lot to just want to rebrand and create this identity so that people can see. For instance, a person might not really like to wear hairs and shoes and the heels, but because they want to be seen in a particular way, they go back. When they go to the office, they wear all this, but when they get home, finally I'm freed. So maybe if we can preach more about, saying more about
self-acceptance,
come the way you are.
Yeah, remember what I said at the beginning? Branding is about truth. It's about authenticity. If you are a different person at home and a different person at school or at work, then that's not branding. That the mistake people make is that, oh, okay, I want to become a politician. Let me put together an image that is a politician. That's like a female politician. And then when they go home and they kick off their shoes, they're like, thank God I'm home now. I can be a different person. That is why you are exhausted, because you are acting. You are putting up a front. You are working so hard. But if you show up as yourself, if you don't like wigs and weave-ons, and you know the good thing about the way the world is now, I know when I was growing up, if you wear trad, you are poor. Yes. If you listen to Nigerian music, you are Raz. But now, my most expensive outfit, and it is expensive, is Nigerian brand. It's a Nigerian brand, because we have started appreciating that there are things that are authentic to people. There are people that carry their natural hair and they are in boards and they attend their weddings with their natural hair, you know. So if you tell yourself that I have to be this to be accepted or for it to be my brand, then that's a mistake that you're making. You're right, it starts with acceptance, self-esteem. Your self-esteem has to be, for branding to be efficient, it works side by side with self-acceptance, self-esteem. Because if your identity is not wrapped around having a strong self-esteem, you will just be thrown. They can just say one thing, you just say, no, I'm not doing this again. They will just say another thing, you just, let me stop doing, all of that. You know.
But do you think the society is actually ready for it? Because I know people will come at you and say, she's too bold, Do you think the society is ready?
Women need to stop being afraid of what will people say.
Sorry, before you get to that society aspect, in reference to what you were saying previously, we'll still come back to this. I would like to ask, you say we should accept ourselves. For example, since our branding and identity also goes about our traits, our character, our career, let me give myself an example. I'm not a makeup person. You see me anywhere, I don't like makeup.
Yeah.
But because of the kind of job I do,
Yeah.
you're made to actually
Wear makeup.
Wear makeup.
Yeah.
You get. So there's some people like that personally they might not want to do, like for example the wigs, the heels and stuff. But because of the role that they play in maybe the space of in their career and everything, they have to do it.
Yeah.
So are we also going to say maybe they're also faking it or something because they have to fit into that particular space?
No, in that case, for instance, now, do you feel fake?
No, I don't.
Exactly, because you are wearing it for your job, for the role that you're playing right now. Now, if they tell you, oh, come for this event or come here or come there, and they say, okay, you have to go and sit down and do 4 hours of makeup. That's when you start feeling, Chidinma, why do I have? You start feeling like, what's all this? That is when it makes you exhausted. But if you are in a role where you have to wear makeup because of the camera, you can tell them, look, I'm not, give them direction. Oh, look, I'm not, like how the actresses and the actors and the musicians do it. There are actors that will say, I like, what's it called? I like to look goth. That's my brand. You know, so you cannot put Barbie on them. So that's the difference.
Okay.
You can't do Barbie on them. So like someone like you who is not a makeup person, I'm sure that you will never agree to certain kinds of makeup on your face, no matter how they say it's for TV. That's because you already know who you are and what is authentic to you. So it's the same thing. Even somebody who has to, I don't know situation, but like for instance, somebody who has to maybe wear a wig for a presentation, or all of that. Those kind of situations, that once you finish, you're taking it off and you are done with that. Now, where you feel somehow is if, for instance, you are the kind of person, maybe you are a born again Christian, and you say you want to get a job where they are wearing bikini to serve people. It doesn't make sense. You tell yourself, this doesn't make sense. Is not authentic to me. And you have to advise yourself and be strong enough to get out of that situation.
But wouldn't that be said to, like, okay, perhaps you could also rebrand and get to
no, but if you because yes, if you rebrand, it's your choice. It becomes your choice to rebrand into that. But if it is not your choice, that's if you're doing it out of compulsion, that's where the problem is. But you cannot be forced to do anything you don't want to do. You can't force me because I need a job, but I don't believe in maybe alcohol. I'll go and take a job in a nightclub. Nobody forced me. I could have taken a job anywhere else, but I'm now there. I'm now saying, why is this one drinking? It doesn't make any sense. It's your choice. But if you tell yourself, okay, I can handle this. Okay, since it's just 2 hours, let me just do it and go. You cannot go there and be doing, you understand? Yes.
Okay, now go back to what I was talking about, the society. I would like to add to it that how can women come out of this particular shell? Because sometimes we try to push ourselves forward, but there are cultural factors, Nigerian factors, society that keep making it look like your efforts are not worth it. For example, many people say it, even some parents tell their children, don't try to be too successful so you don't pursue a man from you. They say things like that. Oh, you have the money, don't buy the car yet, just keep it in your accounts. If you buy a car now, you send the money away. You want to build a house, not now, things like that. So, and a lady was sharing at a particular point that a girl is building a house for her parents. She's actually doing so well, and she's in her 20s, her late 20s, and her boyfriend is challenged, like, if you're building the house for your money, what exactly can I do for you and stuff like that? So how do we now keep pushing and keep trying to do exploits and keep portraying ourselves to be a particular type of brand. There's a particular influencer on social media I saw. She bought a Range Rover for her mom and did a lot of things for her, and then people started her that this one is, she's not going to get husband on time. Like, everybody just thinks it's all about getting a man, like it's a trophy. Meanwhile, some of them are the way to death, and you get stuff like that. So how do we now keep pushing and making ourselves to be that brand that we want to be without having those kind of mindset? Because sometimes even when you have built that inner self and that is talking to you, imagine someone like your mother telling you that kind of comment. You regard your mother and you hear things like that, your siblings, maybe your aunties and stuff. So how do we now push forward?
3 things I would say. Number 1, we can't stop talking about it. That's it. Women who have been able to come into themselves have to keep talking about it, how you can become. Secondly, the society will always be the society. The fight is a continuous fight. There's something I learned recently. It's called reprogramming the subconscious mind. That's for an individual. Your mind, your subconscious mind has been built. There are programs that you believe, oh, a woman should be this, a woman should be this, a woman should not do this, a woman should, all of that. Those are things that the society has ingrained inside of us. Anywhere in the world you go, it is constant. However, if you decide to reprogram your mind, and because everything is in the mind, everything is the mind, and focus on growth, on wealth, on more, you now start associating and in places where like-minded people, and then you find a mentor or a coach that can hold your hand and help you. All these voices will just be like voices. You just keep going. And women need examples. When women see that this person is doing it, the first thing they do is laugh or scoff at you or whatever. But that internal voice that is telling them that you too, you want to be a speaker. You want to be an international this. You want to be, and see somebody is doing it. They start earnestly wanting that, and they start saying that, okay, it's possible. You see that the voices that are talking to them, they'll listen, but they'll still be going forward to those things. They'll still be going forward to those things when they see that as an example. And that's why we cannot stop talking. We cannot stop speaking. The women that have gone ahead, like the older women, the older generation, they are people who have removed themselves from societal like norms and societal, like there are some women I admire very much. They are traditional women, but you can see that they have reprogrammed their mind towards success, towards wealth, towards building legacy, building generational wealth and all of that. They are not held down by society's chains. Those are the women, not forgive me, big brother and influencers. Those are the women that if anybody wants to build a personal brand that will, stand the test of time and take you to where you want to go, those are the women that we should be admiring and looking at and, considering. But at the end of the day, we are only chained in our minds. The minute you can break free from the chain of the mind, there's no
okay. Talking about breaking free from the chains of the mind, of course, and of the society with the patriarchy. And but do you think it is possible to be successful in marriage and be successful having identified yourself into great success?
Okay, say it again.
Okay, so do you think it is possible to be actually successful in marriage
and then achieve
great things?
Yes, I absolutely, it's possible. It all takes partnership, because a lot of people are not in they haven't reached a level of awareness that helps them to understand themselves. But that's why a husband and a wife, they need to hold hands and go together and work together. If you are on a personal development journey, you can't leave your wife behind or your husband behind. Now, if your husband is on the journey with you, you find that as his awareness grows, his chains also is put aside. And he's the one telling you, go girl, go get that money, go get that position. You know, he's the one cheering you on when both of you are operating as partners, as it's supposed to be, side by side. Is if you are married to somebody who believes as the husband I'm the star, and you are I'm the head, you are the neck, not even the neck, the tail, you are under my feet. Anything I do, I have the final say and all that. Anything I tell you, if I'm not comfortable with this about you, you have maybe your authentic brand is natural hair. And I remember a story I saw where the guy was complaining that he doesn't like the way his wife's dresses, blah blah blah, and all that. And the wife also came to complain that he likes her to wear bodycon dresses, tight dresses, short dresses, to go out to long Brazilian hair and all that. And it's not who she is. It's not who she is, you know. So that she wears beautiful clothes, but he doesn't think they're beautiful because it's not it's not what he thinks is beautiful. You see, they are not in agreement, and that's where the problem is. But if both of you are your husband, as you are branding, because women are quick to learn. Men always feel like I know it all, but if you, as you are developing, you don't just say, this man is your business. If you like, you are just women, we have a power in a subtle, powerful way. You take him along. What do you think about this? Growth, development, building the mind, we program. You start introducing ideas to him, and he's coming along. You'll find that as your awareness is growing, his awareness is growing, and you people are at par. That is where you would experience a successful marriage. So when you say you want to go and present the cake for the president's party by 1 a.m., he's not calling you and telling you, you see this business, I hate it. You see, because he's not telling you that. He's like, wow, you got a deal to make a cake for the highest citizen in Nigeria? Go girl. He's proud, he's happy because he has read your vision board, and he understands it. You are planned together. So that's where a successful marriage can happen. But if people are in this way like this, maybe he already feels this one is a small girl, then there will be struggle.
Okay,
There'll be struggle.
Thank you so much for your time. I think I've actually learned a lot. For me, if I can just recap of what you said, what I think I have learned is this. I think we have to identify ourselves, even in our pursuit for whatever we want to get, because it will determine the kind of people we associate with. It will determine the kind of career we get into. It will determine the kind of man we get married to. So, like the last thing you just said now, if you don't meet somebody that understands your personal brand and identity, there's going to be a problem. If he doesn't understand your vision board, there's going to be a problem. I'll share a story that my pastor's wife shared with us. She said some people came for cancer, and what was the cause of the problem? The man said he gave her money to buy red hair and blonde. She went and bought natural color. That was the problem. So it's obvious that from beginning, they don't understand themselves. They're not on the same lane. They're expecting you, show that you're married to, that kind of stuff. So if you don't, if you understand your personal brand and your identity, it will be easy for you to associate with the right people. So even when you get to a place where people don't understand you, you're quick to move and find people that can understand you.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Say a good student, Chidinma.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me.
You can take on today's episode of Engendered. Do also join us next time for an interesting episode. I remain Chidinma Ufomadu.
Well, I am Victoria Agbi, and hope you actually caught up with so many things that our guests have been able to share with us today. Until next time, see you. Bye.
Bye.